Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going back to 1991 to revisit one of the most powerful and influential movies of its generation. Boyz n the Hood, directed and written by John Singleton. The film told the story of Trey Styles, a young man growing up in South Central Los Angeles, surrounded by friendship, family, violence, and difficult choices. The movie introduced audiences to a group of actors who would go on to have remarkable careers. Cuba Gooding Jr., Ice Cube, Morris Chestnut, Laurence Fishburne, Angela Bassett, Nia Long, Regina King, and many more. Some were already experienced performers, while others were making their first major appearances. Now, 35 years later, where are they? What are their real names? How old are they in 2026? And sadly, which members of the cast have passed away? Let's take a look at the cast of Boyz n the Hood. Then and now. Let's begin with Cuba Gooding Jr. His real name is Cuba Mark Gooding Jr. In the film, he played Jason Trey Styles III. Trey is sent to live with his father, Furious Styles, and the experience changes his life. Cuba Gooding Jr. was only 23 years old when Boyz n the Hood was released. But this was just the beginning. A few years later, he delivered his Oscar-winning performance in Jerry Maguire, playing Rod Tidwell. His famous "Show Me the Money" moment became part of movie history. Gooding Jr. continued appearing in major films including Men of Honor, Pearl Harbor, and Radio. Born in 1968, Cuba Gooding Jr. is 58 years old in 2026. And for longtime fans, Trey Styles remains one of the roles that started his remarkable journey. Next, Laurence Fishburne. His real name is Laurence John Fishburne III. He was credited as Larry Fishburne in the original movie. He played Jason Furious Styles Jr., Trey's father. Furious was strict, intelligent, and determined to teach his son how to survive without becoming trapped by the violence around him. Fishburne was already an experienced actor when the movie arrived. He was 29 years old at the time, but his career would become even bigger. He later became famous as Morpheus in The Matrix, as well as appearing in countless films and television productions. He has worked with some of Hollywood's biggest directors, and earned major awards recognition throughout his career. Born in 1961, Laurence Fishburne is 65 years old in 2026, and Furious Styles remains one of his most memorable performances. Now, one of the biggest transformations in this entire cast, Ice Cube. His real name is O'Shea Jackson Sr., before Boyz n the Hood. Ice Cube was already famous as a groundbreaking rapper, but this movie marked his acting debut. He played Darren Doughboy Baker, Ricky's older brother. Doughboy is surrounded by violence, and his life takes a tragic turn after the loss of Ricky. Ice Cube brought an intensity to the character that surprised many audiences. After the film, his acting career exploded. He starred in movies including Friday, Barbershop, Are We There Yet?, and many others. He also continued his successful music career, making him one of the most influential figures in hip-hop and film. Born in 1969, Ice Cube is 57 years old in 2026. From rap superstar, to Hollywood actor, to producer and businessman, his career has been extraordinary. Next, Morris Chestnut. His real name is Morris Lamont Chestnut. He played Ricky Baker, Doughboy's younger brother. Ricky was talented, focused, and determined to earn a football scholarship. His dream was to escape the difficult environment around him, but his story becomes one of the film's most heartbreaking. Chestnut was just 22 years old when the movie was released. After Boyz n the Hood, his career continued to grow. He appeared in movies such as The Best Man, The Brothers, Ladder 49, and The Call. He also became a major television star. Born in 1969, Morris Chestnut is 57 years old in 2026. And decades later, Ricky Baker remains one of his most remembered characters. Now, Angela Bassett. Her real name is Angela Evelyn Bassett. She played Reva Styles, Trey's mother. Reva wanted her son to have a better life, and believed that living with Furious could give him the guidance he needed. Bassett was already an accomplished actress, But Boyz n the Hood became another important step in her career. She was about 32 years old when the movie was released. She later became one of Hollywood's most respected actresses. She portrayed legendary figures, appeared in major dramas, and became famous worldwide as Queen Ramonda in the Marvel films. She has received numerous major awards and nominations throughout her career. Born in 1958, Angela Bassett is 68 years old in 2026, and she remains one of the biggest stars from the original cast. Next, Nia Long. Her real name is Nia Talita Long. She played Brandy, Trey's girlfriend. Brandy was religious, strong-minded, and deeply cared about Trey. Their relationship added another emotional layer to the story. Long was only 20 years old when Boyz n the Hood was released, but she soon became one of the most recognizable actresses of her generation. She appeared in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Friday, Love Jones, Soul Food, and The Best Man. She continued working in both television and film for decades. Born in 1970, Nia Long is 55 years old in 2026, and Brandy remains one of the roles that helped establish her career. Now, Tyra Ferrell. She played Brenda Baker, Ricky and Doughboy's mother. Brenda's relationship with her sons is complicated, and the tragedy involving Ricky becomes one of the most emotional moments in the entire film. Ferrell was already an experienced performer when she appeared in the movie. She continued acting in film and television afterward. Her career included numerous dramatic and supporting roles. Born in 1962, Tyra Ferrell is 64 years old in 2026. Next, Regina King. She played Shalika, a small but memorable role in the movie. At the time, King was only about 20 years old, but her career would become enormous. She became famous for television roles, major films, and eventually became an acclaimed director. King won an Academy Award for If Beale Street Could Talk, and became one of Hollywood's most respected performers and filmmakers. She also directed episodes of major television productions. Born in 1971, Regina King is 55 years old in 2026. Her appearance in Boyz n the Hood was just one of the earliest chapters in an extraordinary career. And this is where the Boyz n the Hood cast becomes especially interesting. The film featured a large ensemble of performers, including Alicia Rogers, Diedrich D. Gobert, Baldwin C. Sykes, Lexi Bigham, John Cothran, and others. Many had smaller roles, but each helped create the world around Trey, Ricky, and Doughboy. Some continued acting, some moved away from Hollywood, and sadly, several members of this cast died far too young. Lexi Bigham played Mad Dog, a character connected to the dangerous gang world surrounding the story. Bigham was only 23 years old when Boyz n the Hood was released. Sadly, he passed away in 1995, only a few years after the film. His life and career were cut tragically short. His role in Boyz n the Hood remains part of the movie's lasting legacy. Another tragic story belongs to Lloyd Avery too. He appeared as one of the men involved in Ricky's murder. His real name was Lloyd Fernandez Avery too. Avery was born in 1969, and after his acting career, his life took a very dark turn. He was convicted of double homicide, and sentenced to life in prison. In 2005, Avery was murdered at Pelican Bay State Prison. He was only 36 years old. His death remains one of the saddest stories connected to the film. And then there was Whitman Mayo. He played the old man, a memorable neighborhood character. Mayo was already a veteran actor when he appeared in the movie. He was 61 years old at the time. Sadly, Whitman Mayo passed away on May 22, 2001. At the age of 70, he left behind a long career in television and film. Looking back at Boyz n the Hood in 2026, it's incredible to see how far many of these actors came. Cuba Gooding Jr. became an Academy Award winner. Laurence Fishburne became Morpheus. Ice Cube became a major actor, producer, and businessman. Morris Chestnut became one of Hollywood's most recognizable leading men. Angela Bassett became an award-winning Hollywood legend. Nia Long became a beloved television and film star. And Regina King became both an acclaimed actress and director. The movie itself also became part of American film history. In 2002, the Library of Congress selected Boyz n the Hood for preservation in the National Film Registry, recognizing it as culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. And that says everything about its lasting impact. 35 years later, we're still talking about these characters. We're still remembering the performances. And we're still discovering where the actors ended up. Because Boyz n the Hood wasn't simply a movie. It was a snapshot of a time. A story about family, friendship, choices, and consequences. And that's why, even after 35 years, the cast, the characters, and the story are still unforgettable.